So I thought this was the perfect opportunity to just be able to hop on and talk a little bit about the Lionsgate energy we're experiencing at the moment. And even some of the themes that I have kind of noticed, and my guides were talking to me about, perhaps just sharing a little bit about tonight, and just sharing some of the things maybe to be focusing on at the moment while we're in this Lionsgate energy as well. So the Lionsgate, also known as the 8-8 energy portal, is what we're currently experiencing. And the gate itself actually opened about the 26th of July, and we will be at the peak of energy on the 8th of August. So that is only a few days away. Hello, so lovely to have so many more of you join. Thank you. So yes, we're only a couple of days away from that peak of energy, but we have actually been experiencing this energy for over a week now. And it's really interesting how I'm already somebody that watches things like Schumann resonance and solar flares and solar energy and things like that. And generally I have noticed over the last few years, when I've really been watching it and paying attention, is that those sorts of things tend to amp up when we are suddenly in an energy portal or some kind of really special period of energy. And so I did notice that about the 26th, it might have been like halfway through that day, that we actually started to have solar energy start to really ramp up. And we have had lots of solar flares. We've actually had solar wind, solar storm since that date, and we also have had quite a large Schumann spike, and we've had a Schumann resonance blackout as well. So these are all things that actually will be contributing to the energy and making it a much higher energy for us currently while this Lionsgate portal is open as well. So the portal itself is, it happens every year. It's an alignment in energies. So it is literally Orion's belt. We have the Sirian star and we have the pyramid in Giza that all line up at this date every single year. And in the lead up to that, we have lots of energy. It's like the veils are thin, and lots of energy kind of pours down onto the entire earth through that time. And so it can be a really big time for us to have like rapid shifts and changes, have lots of healing that suddenly takes place. We can find a lot of our psychic centers that are really open and flowing, and lots of guidance that's coming through. But we can also find that we're experiencing a lot of healing, and so we might be experiencing a lot of ascension symptoms, while lots of stuff like our body is integrating all the energy, and lots of stuff is coming through for us to kind of receive and clear, so that we're a more open channel, more able to actually connect in with those intuitive abilities and be more connected to universe, spirit, all those wonderful, beautiful things have a higher vibration. So some of the ascension symptoms can be quite hard to work with as well. So that will be things like, you might have found you've had more aches and pains over that past period from about the 26th of July. Headaches might have been more common. You might be having lots of issues with sleep, like insomnia and those sorts of things with your sleep. You can be having digestive issues. Has been another one I've experienced on and off, where you can suddenly just don't seem to be able to tolerate certain foods, or even any foods at different times. You're just getting nauseated, dizziness. All those kinds of things are known ascension symptoms that have been going on over this last little while. And it's just our physical body's way of trying to cope with all of this energy that we're experiencing at the moment. Now, this is the ideal time to really pay attention to synchronicities and pay attention to your any psychic intuitive messages that are coming through. Pay attention to your psychic channels that are working at the moment. All of those sorts of things, really trying to go with the flow. This is really the ideal time to be making more of an effort with those things at the moment. now and at the time of the peak. So for us in Australia, that peak will be on Sunday, on the 8th of August. This is a really big time to be doing things like make time for meditation, either give or receive some healing, so maybe some Reiki healing or some other hands-on healing. You know, take time for doing healing. Take time for self-care as well, especially if you're struggling with a lot of that energy at the moment. Take time for self-care, look after yourself, perhaps do a nice soak in the bath, you know, take time to read a book and just to be able to rest and unwind. You know, as you feel that you need to, do try and take that time to do that as well. This is a great time for stopping for some divination. So whatever your favorite, might be cards or pendulums or runes or whatever it is, it's a great time to stop for divination, because we've got the veils thinner, we've got so much energy coming through at the moment. Your messages should be a lot clearer at present. So, you know, take some time to do divination, to really look to what's the next most appropriate steps in different areas of your life. You know, try and stop to be able to do that as well. With your meditation, take time to speak to your guides, connect with your angels, connect with that higher self as well. You know, whatever, see, I love to connect with dragons too, so whatever of those universal energies that really connect with you, try and make some time to be able to do that. They don't have to be long meditations, because I know for myself, when we're in lockdowns, I always feel like I'm actually busier than when I'm not in lockdown, and I tend to be a busy person even when we are not in lockdown. So, you know, they don't have to be super long. You know, take 10 minutes, perhaps get up a little bit 10 minutes earlier in the morning to try and stop and do a meditation, or take 10 minutes before you go to bed. You know, just try and fit it in somewhere during your day. You'll notice it will really make a difference for you. Things like journal writing is fantastic, or automatic writing if you love doing automatic writing as well. Try and take some time out in nature, perhaps go for a walk so that you can be outside in that fresh air, or get out and do a little bit of gardening. You know, anything that gets you out in nature is really ideal at the moment as well. You might be feeling called to do some cleansing, so you might want to do a smudge at home, perhaps give the house a clear, or even give yourself a little bit of a smudge and a clear. Or there's other, obviously, alternatives to just smudging, so there's some really great clearing sprays and things like that that you could use to help, you know, just take a moment to clear yourself. And it can really make a difference when we clear ourselves, take a few deep breaths and center ourselves. Sometimes that can really make all of the difference at the moment. And this is a really great time also to do any kind of anything towards manifesting. So that might be for you vision boards, it might be perhaps doing a spell to help in creating and doing your manifesting. Whatever kind of work that appeals to you, that assists you in being able to manifest for the future. Perhaps even just writing out some goals and setting yourself some goals of, you know, directions you want to head, things you'd like to start to do. That's a little bit different. Then, you know, even that is working on manifesting, and even that small process, you know, will start something. It'll start a spark for you, and this is a really great time to do those sorts of things. Kimberly, automatic writing is honestly where we sit down. I always start by asking a question, you know, perhaps a little bit like divination. So you can write down a question, something you'd like an answer to, and then you kind of get in that bit of a meditative space and clear your mind. And it's like I always connect with one of my guides and ask them for some guidance with the question I've asked, and you just literally start writing whatever first comes into your mind. So it might be that you start describing the picture that pops in your head, or start writing some of the words that start coming into your head. And for some people that find that it's really quite natural, it's like you can suddenly have this real big gush and flow of information and writing that you start doing. Or it might just be that you continue to get images and have a few words that pop in your head. It doesn't have to be a massive flow, but it's essentially just connecting to spirit and bringing through some writing and guidance from them, and we're writing it straight down. So it can be a really powerful thing to do, automatic writing, and worth having a go at to see if it resonates with you, definitely. So really this is a time to do things that empower us and help to replenish us and put back in to us, and trying to just make some time to be able to do that. It doesn't have to be that you're doing it all day every day. That's not really reasonable for most of us to be able to do, but just taking some time across the day or days ahead, certainly, you know, this is the time to really make time to do these things, or a little bit of some of these things. Connecting with Goddess Sekhmet is another really great thing to be doing at the moment. Goddess Sekhmet, I meant to grab a card that I've got of her, but she is an Egyptian goddess. She is often portrayed as lion-headed, or she's portrayed as a lion, but often lion-headed with the female body. Goddess Sekhmet is a really powerful healing goddess. Like I said, she's Egyptian, powerful healing, powerful protection. She can also assist us with a lot of that intuitive side of ourselves as well. So she's a really beautiful energy to call on and to maybe work with, even perhaps connect with in your meditation, or perhaps just speak to her in the morning and ask her to be with you and to help you across the day. We've been doing our 7 days of Goddess and God energy on Mystical Dragons page, and I'm actually going to do 8 days this month and do Goddess Sekhmet on Sunday. So I will write a bit more about her with a little invocation and stuff on Sunday morning for anyone that would like to connect with Goddess Sekhmet and hasn't connected with her before. So I'll have an image and all of that up on our page on Sunday morning, if that helps you guys as well. She's also connected to what's called the Lion people, and they're star beings that usually look like that half lion, half human type person as well. So if you have a connection to the Lion people, or feel called to maybe connect to them or speak to them, then this is the time to do that as well. And also the light beings known as the Syrian beings, this is a really great time to speak with them and to connect with them as well. So perhaps in your meditations, or once again, just, you know, speaking to them in the morning, asking them to come throughout the day and to connect with you and to help guide you or to help bring you healing, any of those sorts of things. This is the time to be doing that. Obviously we can work with any of our spirit guides and our angels, and there's so many energies that we can be working with at the moment, so go with what you're intuitively guided to. I'm just sharing with you some ideas to hopefully get you inspired, and then from there, you know, go with what's really resonating with you. Don't force things. If it doesn't make sense to you to do, don't force it. Go with what you're feeling guided as being the most appropriate thing for you, because it really is individual with how these kinds of energies work with us as individuals. Now, I mentioned that there's a couple of themes that I've really noticed, and my guide said that I should talk about tonight. So I did want to mention that some of the themes coming up at the moment, which might resonate with you as things that you've maybe noticed as well. There's a lot of ancestral healing and past life healing that is going on at present, and has been particularly emphasized since the start of the Lionsgate being opened. And there's also, this feels like a really big avenue for us to be able to connect with, you know, what is my purpose? And this feels like a really great time to connect with that and to be brought wisdom and guidance around what is my purpose, what am I here to do. Now, things like ancestral healing, if you're not sure what that is, essentially this is us perhaps repeating the same mistakes that our parents have repeated, or our grandparents have repeated, or even further up the line, great-grandparents, and way up the line, and being able to actually start to heal some of those mistakes and things that keep getting repeated. And it's not like it's a conscious thing. It is most often an unconscious thing that we pick up from being kids and being around our parents. So, you know, when we're like, oh, I sounded like my mum, that's that unconscious stuff that we've tended to pick up without even realizing. And so we might say, or we might do certain things without even realizing. So there's a lot of healing coming through to help us, I think, be more conscious of those sorts of things, and to be able to heal any of that stuff that we've unconsciously picked up that's not helpful to us, that maybe we are like, I would really rather not pass that on to my kids. So all of that sort of stuff is actually, there's a lot of healing going on around it at the moment. Ancestry, that's right, Shay, maybe. So there's a lot of that going on at the moment. Same with past life healing. Past life healing is essentially, we have the same sort of thing. There's a lot of unconscious stuff that we carry from our past lives into this life, and we're just automatically like repeating some of those same, often bad habits, sometimes good habits, but often there's bad habits that we've picked up in past lives that we're bringing into this life. So here's some examples for you for both of those. Maybe Dad was always working, and now that you're older, you're finding, I'm always working and don't feel like I'm making enough time to be able to connect with the kids or to connect with friends and family. And it's like you've just picked up on that habit without even thinking about it. And you might have even, as you were growing up, thought, I won't do that. And then you've kind of unconsciously fallen into this, I have done it without even knowing I've done it. Or perhaps Mum never spoke up. She never actually spoke up for herself. She didn't speak up for you at different times. And now you find it really hard to speak up for yourself as well. These can also be things we've done in past lives that we bring in this life. So once again, it's even harder to see those unless you have consciously done some past life work. Or some Akashic Records work to be aware of those. But sometimes I feel like I must have been doing this before, it's just something that I've just fallen into so easily, and I don't know where else it has come from. So we can certainly do conscious healing of these things, and even the first step in all of it is being aware of it, being conscious of it, being able to look and go, oh wow, I can see that I've actually picked up this habit or that habit from Mum and Dad or Grandma or whoever it happens to be. I can see that I've actually picked this up, and it feels like it is, something that I've just kind of unconsciously picked up and carried forward without trying to, and it's something I really feel like I would like to release and let go and be able to heal. So that's the first step, and that's often the most powerful step that we can make as well in that journey. And then you might feel guided to a healer that might be able to consciously assist you, because it is quite an individual thing. So you might get guided to a healer. You might get guided to even things on social media where you can suddenly find somebody is sharing a technique and you're like, oh my God, I think that's exactly what I needed. I like to do things like when I know I'm going through real intense periods of healing, I tend to do a lot of cleansing, like, smudge the house. I tend to do a lot of writing where I burn what I've been writing, so that's a really powerful way I find to release. And then there's also different crystals that we can work with for this sort of work as well. Ancestral healing, Apache tear and petrified wood are really powerful, I find, for doing that sort of work. And lepidolite and lapis and selenite are really great if it's particularly past lives that you're wanting to connect with and be more aware of and do healing with. So they can be really great crystals to use if you're finding that you're really doing that sort of thing. Oh, fantastic. So the healing is both for your family and adopted family. Absolutely. Absolutely. So when we do that sort of healing, it's not just for us, it's for our kids, it's for our parents, it's for the whole family line. So it's like a really big collective healing that you're doing when we do that ancestral healing and that past life healing. And so it's really powerful stuff to be connected with and to be doing. And I've really found and feel really guided to say there's lots of us that is doing this really big, profound healing like that. So if you sit back after you've listened to me tonight, you might have some of those aha moments where you can see how you've already been doing that, or that maybe you've already been starting to make real conscious choices that I might have reacted previously in this way, but now I'm going to choose to react in this way when these kinds of things happen. And that's really powerful, you know, just to be that's conscious and making conscious choices and decisions, and that brings a lot of healing too. So don't feel like it has to be, you know, that you find the perfect healer to go see somebody else to fix you. Don't feel like it has to be big profound stuff like that. It's often the smaller stuff that we do for ourselves that can be so powerful as well. So please know that. Lots of that coming through at the moment. So I'm glad some of you are already having ahas about that and understanding and seeing how that's working for you as well. Now also the knowing my purpose, and the ancestral healing can certainly be part of your purpose or the purpose for you. It's like you've come through to heal that ancestral line. That's why you're here, is to heal your ancestral line. No one before you has yet been able to do it. They've maybe come in to try and haven't been able to succeed yet. And this is your purpose, to come in and to heal that ancestral line and to make that big shift for the generations after you. And even if you don't have any kids of your own, it might be perhaps you've got siblings and they've got kids, and you're making a huge difference for those generations that are following as well. So that can be really powerful. But our life purpose, our life mission, we often actually have more than one mission. And we often think that it has to be something huge and profound and life-shattering, and it's not necessarily. It can be little things, well, I say little, it seems little to us, but if you really think about it, it's really not so little. Things like, I come in to actually bring joy to other people that are around me. So the people that I come into contact with, that I come across, you know, my purpose is to actually uplift them and to bring joy. That's a really profound purpose that people tend to overlook as, you know, it's not really a worthy purpose, or, you know, what kind of convoluted purpose is that? It's actually a really powerful purpose to have if that's what you've come into this life for. So it could be your purpose is you've come in to perhaps be a mum or to be a dad, and that's a really powerful purpose too, and that's a huge mission in one life. That's not a small job. So there's so many different purposes we could come in with. Yes, it might be something that feels really big and has a lot of responsibility, like, you know, I feel like I'm here to support fellow light workers and to help uplift other people on that level, or to help awaken certain people. But it might be simpler things like, I'm here to bring joy, I'm here to be a mum, I'm here to heal that ancestral line for my family and for the future generations. There's so many different purposes we can come in with, and like I say, it might not just be one purpose that you come in with. There was a time when we did come with one specific purpose, but in the guidance that I have had over the last, and probably around the last 10 years now, they've very much talked about how we can come in with one purpose and actually fulfill that purpose in this life, and then it's like we shift into a new purpose. And you might resonate with this. It might be like, maybe you've fulfilled a purpose already, you feel like you've fulfilled a purpose, and then you've been feeling lost ever since that, because it's like, well, now what do I do now? So if you do some meditation and connect with your guides and tune in with that, you might find that there's actually a new purpose that comes in for you that you've set. It used to be that we would fulfill that purpose and we would actually pass over and we would start again, start a new life. But there's a lot that has shifted, particularly in the last little while, maybe the last 10, 15 years. So things and ways that we used to do things and used to focus on, it's very much shifted. It's just like karma's shifting. There's so much that's shifting for us at the moment. It's really exciting times on a spiritual level, how things are changing, and how wonderful and easily we can actually embrace things like being able to heal, being able to clear karma, you know, all of these wonderful things shift to a new purpose when we've fulfilled the old one, without having to die and be reborn and go through all of, you know, that growing and learning and remembering phase once again. So it's really exciting times at the moment on those spiritual levels, to be here and to be connected, and to keep growing and raising in vibration and having these wonderful experiences. So please know, I have really noticed that those are the really big themes that we've got going on at the moment. And I wanted to also mention, if you're really wanting to look for that purpose side of things, then there's some great crystals that you can work with for that as well. So things like labradorite and azurite, selenite is another great one, and also charoite is a really nice one as well. So those real high vibrational crystals will tend to be really helpful for you when it comes to looking for purpose. And I find that setting that intent, putting it out to universe, I mean, doing a meditation with it is great, but sometimes you won't always get that answer immediately, and that can sometimes be because we're blocking the answer. It's like we're not quite ready to hear it or receive it. So putting that question out to universe, saying, please show me what my purpose is, help me to understand what my purpose is, and then trying to let it go so that universe can bring you signs and symbols in your life, to give you this, like you can put the puzzle together and see what it is that it's trying to tell you. So it might be that, you suddenly find, oh, I'm seeing lots of things about joy, for instance, going back to that joyful purpose. It might be you keep coming across all of these profound, these signs and different social media and things on the TV that connect to joy, and that kind of brings you to that point of, oh, I have a feeling that this life purpose is connected to something to do with joy, or that maybe everything about being a mother or a father is really emphasized for you after you've released that question to universe. It's like this is a constant theme that keeps coming to you, so then pay attention to that. Or you might find that you are so ready that you do a meditation and this wonderful message of exactly what you needed to hear comes through to you. Or perhaps you have a dream that night or a few nights later, and it's really clear for you what your purpose is in the way that they bring it through to you. So, we've just got to be open to the way that it happens. But I find a lot of people want it so bad that they can actually block the answer coming through to them. So that's why I really suggest maybe put that question out there, whether it's, in some quiet contemplation or in meditation one morning or one night, and just say, please help me to understand what my purpose is, so that, I can have more of a conscious knowing as to what that is and work with that better. And then try and just let it go and just be aware, be open to, how universe wants to bring you those answers. And it will usually come in those themes where you will get it a few times. It's not just one thing, and if you blink you've missed it and it's gone forever. Shay's just asked, can you use a mix of those crystals together, or would be that too... no, that wouldn't be too much, no. I would certainly go with what you're guided to. For me, I find about 3 crystals is a really good, I don't tend to go over that. So if there's like a blend of 3 that you feel really drawn to, and you're like, it makes sense to me about purpose, and I want to connect with that more, and I've got a lot of that healing stuff going on, then maybe pick up to 3 of those crystals that you want to work with together. And they would work really nicely, because intuitively you'll get guided to which ones are the most appropriate for you. And if you don't have any of those ones that I was mentioning, clear quartz is also really fantastic. We can ask clear quartz to do any job for us. And I find it's a very high vibrational crystal. It's fantastic when we're doing healing work, and is fantastic to help bring guidance through more clearly as well. So you can always reach for clear quartz if you don't have any of the ones I've mentioned and you're not sure what else to use. You're welcome. You're welcome. So the last thing I just want to mention before I finish up, guys, is that our 8/8 portal, this is really, I always see it's like the first big energetic portal that we have each year, and then we actually have a series of other portals that occur across the coming months as well. So we really start to step into a lot of energy from August. It's like everything keeps stepping up and stepping up till we get to the end of the year. So we do have portals on the 10/10, the 10th of the 10th, on the 11th of the 11th, on the 12th of the 12th as well. And I will do some lives and talk about those in the lead up to those as well, and hopefully do some lives in between on some other topics and stuff, because I'm getting guided to a few different other things to talk about and share. So hopefully I'll get into maybe a bit of a rhythm. We'll do some regular lives, just some little short ones like I'm doing tonight as well, for those that are interested. So we do have, like I said, we do have more portals that will be coming up. So if you feel like you spend most of this portal doing a lot of healing and getting a lot of the physical ascension symptoms that make you feel really uncomfortable and you're not feeling good, don't stress. It's not like you're going to miss the bus after Sunday. There will be more energy, there will be more opportunities. So it's never that the door's closed and that's it. Also, it's worth mentioning that we have the peak on the 8th, but then we'll also have a release of energy after that. So it's not like after the 8th that energy just slams shut and we can't experience it at all. You will find that there's a release of energy after the 8th. So, you know, we will still be feeling this Lionsgate energy for a few days beyond the 8th. Some say it goes to about the 12th. I find it varies year to year as to how long that energy lingers. I think it depends how long we need it each year as well. So just know that you'll still be experiencing it, and so it's worth perhaps considering doing some of those things I mentioned, not just perhaps today or tomorrow or Sunday, but on the days after that as well. And especially if you're finding you're struggling, it's totally worth, you know, doing some meditation and self-care and those sorts of things to really help yourself. And if you are struggling, please make sure you're drinking plenty of water and that you're trying to reach for some of those more wholesome foods, because that's when we really should try and pay attention to what we're putting in our body as well, because that will really help with how our body is you know, being able to work through those heavy dense energies as well. And just before I finish up, we also have at Mystical Dragon, we have beautiful Laura, one of our partners that we work with. She's from Amethyst Light Therapies, and Laura is going to be running her Lionsgate meditation. It's a guided meditation with singing bowls and vocal toning. It's really beautiful. It's an hour session at 8 o'clock on Sunday the 8th, and that's held online as well, so it's open to anybody. It's only $18 to be able to join in with that one. It's very focused about connecting to the Lionsgate energy and being able to embrace some of those energies that we've talked about tonight. So if you'd really like something like that, where you're quite guided in the space and you're kind of nurtured and taken care of in that space, we have a Facebook event that's in Mystical Dragon's list of events. That's for the Lionsgate Portal Meditation. So jump in there and you'll find all the details, and the link to be able to book is in that event as well. I'll try and put it in the comments to this live session as well to make it easier for you guys. It was amazing. I have no doubt it will be amazing again this year. So thank you all. I hope that has given you some inspiration and some ideas to be able to work with. Like I said, don't wait till Sunday. Try and start doing some of this now. Try and start being aware of some of this now. And if you're struggling, start getting into some of that to look after yourself as well. I hope you guys are all coping at the moment. I know for us in Victoria, this was day 1 of our lockdown, and poor New South Wales people, you guys have already been going for quite a few weeks now. So please do your best to take care of yourself and each other. I'm sending out loads of healing. At Mystical Dragon, we do healing circles every Friday, sending out lots of healing energy, and we do that one from our group, our Mystical Dragon community group. So if anyone wants to jump into our group and join us for those, you're more than welcome as well. Sending out loads of love and healing and positive energy to you guys. Mwah. I will try and jump on and do another live really soon and connect with you guys and check in how everyone's going. But do take care of yourselves. Thanks guys, much love to everybody.